I've been talking about the class warfare that's going on. That's the label they put on it today. It's an old fight. It's been going on for centuries and centuries. It's the people who want power and the rest of us that want to lead a normal life. What I want to do is define more the enemy, what they are and how they operate. These people are, for the most part, what you call psychopaths, in that they don't have any empathy, they don't have any remorse. It's like they don't have a conscience. They're just out for one thing, and that's power. There have been many famous examples of these type people: Adolf Hitler, Mussolini, Stalin, Pol Pot, George Bush, pardon me, Dick Cheney, some of the Caesars, Attila the Hun, Genghis Khan. It's a phenomenon that happens when people get to a certain point of having a certain amount of power. Then something takes over in their minds. They just we're not sure whether it's genetic, whether these people are born that way with this. If some kind of psychopath is born, say they're born in a rich family close to power, and then they just go crazy, seeking more and more and more, or if it's the phenomena that the closer you get to power from maybe a lower income level, and you start to rise, the more the hunger takes over in your mind, and you want more and more power. The fact is that we know that those people are out there, and we know that that's what they do. And the tools they use are propaganda, they use government, they use religion, they use different forms of economic institutions, ideas like capitalism. Mussolini used fascism, which was a combination of government and corporations, big companies. Others have used a combination of government and religion. The early Roman Empire, some of them use patriotism, just pure patriotism as a tool to get what they want, and they brainwash people. They put ideas lots of times at an early age. They start propagandizing people when they're in grade school, teaching them different things, patriotism, capitalism. And then their churches, religion, and it corrupts their minds. It makes them susceptible to be led around. The people that want this power, it's the main thing in their lives. Personally, I don't know anyone that has that kind of money. I don't know anyone that has $100 million. I know that they think differently than we do. They really do. The common guy like you and me, that's who I'm talking to. I'm talking to the middle class, just everyday Joe. Most of the guys I know, they're into fly fishing, they're into mechanics, they woodwork, they like to rock climb. And then they have their families and their social life, just to live their lives. But these rich and powerful people, it seems like the more they get, the more they want. And when they get close to being at a certain power level, they want to take that next step. Their ideal situation would be for them to be dictators, kings. Even George Bush admitted jokingly, but it was a true statement. It'd be easier, if he was a dictator, he could just tell people what to do. These people want to subjugate the rest of us. They want us to produce for them and give us very little of what we produce. That's what slavery was all about. The idea that somehow modern man is different than he was a couple of hundred years ago is a fallacy. We're really no different. The same people that enslaved people back then, that the Spanish Inquisition that did all these horrible tortures on people, some of the more horrific wars and what they did in war, it's going on today. It's the same thing. One of the reasons I'm starting to give these talks is there's always been sort of a balance between what happens when people gain power and the common man will kind of rise up and when he's had enough of it and fight back, and then they take power again and we fight back. But some of the techniques that are coming online now, some of the techniques that they'll be able to use are scary. The psychological techniques. They use the old techniques of propaganda, where they get these people to believe all kinds of ideas that are not good for the people. It's like that book, What's Wrong with Kansas? What's the Matter with Kansas? Where these conservative Republicans keep the common ones, not the rich ones, keep voting against their own self-interest. You can get people to do that if you pull the right strings, say the right thing. One of the best techniques they use is it's us against them. I'm a Christian, I'm a conservative. Once you get people to believe that you're one of them and it's us, it's me and you against them, then they'll believe just about anything you have to tell them. I mean, once they really believe that, if it's really in their head, it's kind of like the sports teams, where I'm a Raider, and you're for your team. No matter if they're a terrible team or the best team, you're for your team. It's the same thing with these guys that buy into these different leaders and these different structures, like Republicans or Democrats. Democrats aren't quite as bad, but they're still corrupt. They're still tools. The Democrats are tools of the rich. There are very few of them out there that aren't. There are a few, but they're rare and very few. But that's what they do. They say, you're a conservative, you're a Christian, you're a Republican, and it's us against them. Now let's go fight. And here's what we're going to do for you. We're gonna stop abortion. The gays are bad. It's us against them. We don't want the gays to have anything. So you sell them on the idea that it's they're with you, and let's march on Christian soldiers. But they're not with those people. They could care less for them. They want them as slaves. They're using them. In any time you hear these people talking about, let's give more to the rich, anybody who believes that is insane. Their minds are warped. It's just like Jim Jones telling his followers, let's all commit suicide. And they, oh, okay, that sounds good to me. It's these people who are so committed to these groups are somebody's really gotten into their brain and has grabbed a hold of it and just leading them around. Like I talked about in my last talk, these memes get into people's heads. Memes are ideas or thoughts that they're free floating, and they're downloaded into people's heads, like religion. It doesn't matter what the religion is. It's whatever your parents. That's what the kids are. There aren't any Christian parents with Muslim children. I mean, that are their own. They're Christian kids. It's because they download those memes into their heads, and that's what these politicians and the political leaders you see out there today. They aren't the real leaders. It's the power behind them. It's people like the Koch brothers, who have so much money and they have their own agenda. They really want to be kings and queens. They want to be earls and dukes and duchesses and have those titles and that kind of power. And that's what they're out to get. And those are the people that are out to get us. Believe me, they want everything we have. They walk a fine line between taking too much to where we revolt and giving us just enough to keep us happy. But they're really making some moves now to try to get everything they can get. They want Social Security. They want their hands on that money. They want your pensions. You people that have put money into pensions all these years, they want that money. If they get the money, they won't just put it in their pocket and run, but they'll use it. It'll be one of their tools. That they'll have all that money at their disposal. If they could get their hands on Social Security, they'll probably go ahead and pay it. Maybe not as much as they would tell you. I mean, they may say, "Oh, if you just privatize Social Security, you'll get a lot more." But you won't get what they say, and plus they'll get their hands on it. I mean, it's like a tool that they'll have, and they'll use it for their own gain. But they want. It's just like Obama with health care. His health care plan is to give everybody over to the private insurance companies. They don't want a one payer health care system. The insurance companies want that money. There's one insurance executive, either last year or the year before, that his income for that year was $1 billion. He made $1 billion in 1 year. In other words, he made almost $3 million a day. And for people like us, me and you, common everyday people, one of the things that pops into your head is, why so much? Why don't they get a couple of $1 million and retire and go fishing? But again, we don't think like they do. They think differently than we do. They're on a different plane. They're like generals. When a general gets to be a general, he doesn't look at his troops like maybe a sergeant would. They're more like pawns to him. I mean, he may say that I love my troops, I love every man. But if he loved them like children, it would be hard for him to send them off into battle. And I'm sure they talk amongst themselves. I'm sure one of the things in training is they say you can't get too close to your bottom level troops. You can't care for them too much because you won't be able to send them off to war. These people are like generals in that a general can take a group of men just to test an enemy's strength. I mean, just to see how strong he is and sacrifice them, knowing that maybe the majority of them, maybe all of them will be killed, but he'll get information from it. That's how these people are. Once they get so removed from us, from the masses, the everyday guy, then we cease to be human. We're just pawns in their game, and they compete with one another. It's like the guy next door buys a new car and you want a new car. It's the same with them. I mean, they're in those upper echelons of income and power, and we're the tools. We're the game that they play. So So anyway, I'm going to talk more about this and get into other subjects. So you guys stay with me, and let's get this message out there.